Hi, I'm Christiaan van Berg. I'm in the Durbanville Shofar congregation, and my testimony is about God's perfect timing in my life. In 2012, I was in my first year in varsity, and the first day of my June holiday, we were a bunch of friends on a farm in Victoria West, out in the middle of nowhere, and I was in a freak accident on a quad bike where my leg slipped off the bike and it got caught in the axis of the wheel. And yeah, they rushed me to hospital or a clinic in Victoria West, and they were able to fly me down to Cape Town because they didn't know what to do with my leg. They wanted to amputate it, and by the time we got down here, it had been 10 hours after the accident, and according to law, if it's an open fracture where the bone is sticking out, they have to amputate it. But by God's grace, I knew the doctor that was on service that evening, and he said he's going to try and save it. There are 6 hours into the operation. They were able to put on a Taylor spatial frame, an X-Fix, which is basically like a bird cage around my leg, which rebuilds your whole bone structure in your leg. I was in the hospital for a month straight then. Numerous surgeries. I was just trying to save my leg, and after every surgery they said, okay, well, we're probably gonna have to amputate your leg tomorrow, but let's take it day at a time. Yeah, God's grace, after the month in the hospital, I came out and I was in a wheelchair for 2 months on campus, and yeah, amazing people interceding for me, yeah, just proclaiming God's healing, proclaiming God's victory. And so about 2 months into the wheelchair, so 4 months after the accident, I felt God calling me to go to Iran on a mission. It would be fine because the mission would only be in a year, and this X-Fix would only be on for about 6 months. And the 6 months came, and the doctor said, no, just give it another 3 months. And by that time my father said, listen, you can't go to a persecuted country where with this X-Fix on, it's not going to fly. And obviously I had to be submissive to my father. I was still under his roof, and it's a godly thing to do. So 9 months came, and they said no, another 2 months. Another 2 months. They were still, after every infection, they wanted to still amputate, and it was just a constant struggle to keep my leg alive. And by 11 months, I got there, and they said, sorry, at least another 2 to 3 months. And I was devastated because this was a month before we had to go to Iran, and I didn't know what God wanted. But we kept on interceding, and we kept on believing every week. So at the bottom of my X-Fix were iron rods, like the hanger of your clothes, that went through my ankle, and the top just below the knee were 3 iron bars, basically as thick as your finger. So, yeah, iron as thick as your finger, just going into my leg. And so a week after the bad news, one of the iron rods in my ankle snapped, which has happened before, but instead of replacing it, they just took it out. And another week later, another one of the rods snapped, and I went in, and again, it wasn't much of a thing because it happened. And a week after that, as I handed in my last exam for my second year, I stepped away and my leg just caved in, and they rushed me to hospital, and the doctors were stunned. They didn't know what to say, and I was asking what's happening, and they were just in awe. And they said one of the iron bars snapped clean off, like someone welded it, which is physically impossible. They've never seen it in the history of the medical practice, and they said obviously something supernatural is going on here. So they took it off, and a week before we had to go, my leg was out of the X-Fix, and I could share my testimony with a bunch of people.